Right, so we've got the shafts all measured up and trimmed so that they are all the same length. We now need to figure out where the balance is in proportion to the length of the shaft. Is it central? Is it offset to one side or the other? That's what we need to find out. Thankfully, these ones are not too bad. They're about 15 millimeters to the right of centre as we are looking at them, which means we have a negative balance, as in a balance which is going towards the back of the shaft. From this point on, everything we do in terms of cutting material, removing material, is done with the awareness of which is the knock end of the shaft at all times, because from this point on, the only time we were going to remove material is going to be from the point end, which will keep our balance towards the rear, because we're aiming in the long run to have a neutral to positive balance, which means we have to start with a negative balance. But we don't want to have too much in the positive, otherwise you can end up with a nose heavy arrow which will just nose dive, and that does no good to us whatsoever. Now, the technical ideal would be an entirely neutral balance, but in practical terms that doesn't work. So we're aiming for a balance which is in the front half of the arrow, maybe around about a quarter of the total length from the front. And we can do that by adjusting the weight of the points that we're going to use. With all that in mind, we're now marking the back, or what is going to be the knock end of the shaft, so that we know that all the work we're going to do is going to be orientated with the rear of the arrows to the right. Now, if we have a look at this shaft that already has a point on it, you will see that the balance point has shifted right forward to roughly where we want it, about a quarter of the way from the point itself. So, as it stands at the moment, we have a slightly negative balance point, and that would be emphasised if we added knock and fletchings now. We would then bring the balance back by adding the point. But anyway, right, it's time to move on to the next